Call this meeting to order of the Public Transit Committee. Can we have a roll call, please?
Bozak.
Here.
Colbert. DeCiani.
Here.
Krajewski. Schwarzy.
Here.
Tronatori.
Here.
Okay. And next we have public comment.
And before we do that, could
Oh,
we
okay.
need someone to make a motion on
I'm sorry.
718?
Need to make a motion to allow member DeCiani to, there's been a request to allow remote participation from member DeCiani under section 7A of the Open Meeting Act. Pursuant if a quorum is physically present, majority may allow the member of that body to attend the meeting by any other means. If the member is prevented from physically attending because of personal illness, employment purposes, family, or other emergency. So this is an employment issue. So I'd like to make a motion to allow member DeCiani. Okay, second. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
All right. Okay, we're good. Thank you. Okay, now next we have public comment. And today we have public comment from, we limit it to 3 minutes per person. We have public comment from Diane Hewitt. Go ahead, Ms. Hewitt.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Diane Hewitt. I'm the supervisor of Lyle Township. And as such, we've been going through budget season and levy season, and we've been working through what we're needing to do. The reason why I'm here is because PACE is one of our larger expenses. It's about $170,000 that we budget a year. Each of the townships, each of the municipalities in the county themselves all have a contract and are working with PACE. Right now, I would really like to bring to your attention that the system pretty much is broken. In that PACE continues to take on customers that they admit that they right now cannot meet the needs. And so they're working with the townships to try to give us alternatives. We've been working with thinking about Uber as an alternative. That leaves a lot of questions for both the riders and the people like us that are paying for the services. So I'd really ask you we need help. Every month there's a group of people that meet to talk about our problems with PACE, and it's gotten critical. We've had people that have lost their jobs. The service really helps people for there's two different portions of the service. One helps them with jobs and the other is going to work and back. The other thing is that it helps them, people that are seniors and need go to hospital appointments and other places that they need to go. In a county, almost 1 million people, to not have an adequate public transportation in general, let alone for most needy, is a really huge issue. So I'm just begging for your help for the people of our community that we really need help fixing this service. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next, we're going to move on to approval of the minutes from the Tuesday, October 5th meeting. I have a motion.
DeCiani.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any comments or changes to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Thank you. Today, we are going to have a staff update, and take it away, John. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. A couple of things to note. Unfortunately, our Transportation Committee did not meet to consider the long-range transportation plan earlier this morning due to kind of a snafu. But I want to mention about what's going on with it. We did conduct our virtual public meeting in November. I think it was fairly successful. We had about 100 attendees, roughly 80% of which progressed all the way through the public meeting. 20 of them left comments for us. The comments were mostly policy oriented and policy types of commentary. And it was interesting that the transit and mobility certainly were at the forefront of those comments. But again, none of the comments were really directed at specific projects objecting to or supporting. This LRTP that's being advanced and we hope will be considered at finance next week will be a $1.6 billion 20-year program with almost 80% of the revenues that we have allocated at the state of good repair, capital maintenance, safety, system enhancement, and mobility. That's probably fairly unprecedented in DuPage County's history in terms of that allocation to safety, capital maintenance, and in relationship to system enhancement or expansion. So it's really a 4-to-1 ratio between the safety, state of good repair, and expansion. The LRTP will continue to be out on our website for people to take a look at, and we hope that if you happen to have a chance to look at it and ask any questions, we're happy to address them and talk about it further. Moving on to Wilbur Corners, really important little program. I think most of you have heard this so far from us. This is really a neighborhood community-based program for which we have a $50,000 IDOT grant. We're progressing, and we've had a community outreach and survey program going on over the last couple of months. In October and November, we actually did our own survey, which the community participated in, and we also had some direct outreach and time dedicated with speaking with the community residents and workers there in the community to find out what their transportation needs were and what some of the service needs were. It's not just a transportation issue. This is a larger community issue in terms of disadvantaged populations. So tonight we're going to be talking with some of the advocacy group, and we'll talk a little bit about what we heard from the community. Nothing really newsworthy there, but it was good to talk with the community and get their sense of what needs to be done. So our recommendations for some of the service options and transit mobility options will be coming out in early 2022. And there'll be a lot of discussion about how to finance them, what grants we can use to help do that. And so I would expect to see a preliminary report early in the year. The plan will be finished and finalized in the middle part of 2022, and looking forward to helping the community as quickly as we can. Further, the mobility plan that we have ongoing right now, which is kind of a companion to the LRTP, is progressing. We actually have convened our steering committees through the RTA, have identified a lot of the issues and needs in the county, and we are working to kind of whittle those down into a manageable, actionable set of items for the future for DuPage County. And so I'm looking forward to presenting that to you folks in the first quarter of 2022.
Okay. And is that everything
That's
else?
it for
Okay.
right now.
Thank you so much, John. Lots to cover. Thank you. Next, we have partner reports. And do we have?
I know Chris Rose was online. Chris, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, great.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning. I just wanted to give you a brief update regarding our budget. Although we faced many challenges throughout the ongoing pandemic, we are pleased to present a balanced and fully funded operational budget, along with the largest robust capital plan in PACE's history. And this is all being done with no increase in fare. Our budget for the suburban side is roughly $272 million. The ADA side, $225 million, with a combined of $498 million for all of PACE. We want to thank our local and state and federal officials, as well as the expense reductions that we did here at PACE to allow us to provide this balanced budget. But also, more importantly, we are now able to begin to reverse many of the service suspensions that we implemented in 2020 and 2021. We're allocating $15 million towards new and restoration services in the proposed budget. $7 million will go towards the restoration of our fixed route services. That's your big blue buses. $5 million will go towards a TNC project, and that will be working with the Ubers and Lyfts and micro transit projects throughout the county and the region. $3 million for on-demand services. That's a 15% increase to all of those dial-a-ride funding partners that we partner with. So that's a total of 1 million additional funding. $1 million towards TNC projects and pilots for the dial-a-ride programs. This will help assist with one, our driver shortage by partnering with those microtransit agencies to help us provide that service. There's also a $200,000 grant that will go to each collar county. So DuPage County will be receiving a $200,000 grant towards enhancing their dial-a-ride program, the Ride DuPage program, or countywide service. As I mentioned, we have a very robust, largest capital plan that we've had in our history. Some of the highlights of that project or capital is 10 million going towards electrifying our North Division in Waukegan by 2026. And this is part of our commitment to go completely zero emission by 2040. Improvements for our Plainfield garage, and that will support the I-55 bus on shoulder project. It's been very successful, as well as Wheeling garage up in North Division, Melrose Park area. South Campus improvements to our South Garage, Joliet Transit Center, River Division expansion, improvements to our Pulse service, improvements to ADA technology, as well as transfer facilities for individuals that use our ADA paratransit service. So how that would work is when you're transferring from one county to the other, there's a transfer point where the individual can wait with the vehicle until the other vehicle arrives and then transfers over. So transfer improvements for those locations and facilities, specifically in DuPage, again, providing a 15% increase in our funding to the county for the dial-a-ride partners, subsidizing trips with Uber and Lyft as a pilot demonstration. And we're looking at doing that with the Ride DuPage program. It will be very similarly structured to what we do in the city of Chicago, TAP, Taxi Access Program, and where we partner with Uber or Lyft and the taxis to provide those trips at the same fare of $3, but the value of the trip is up to $30 on the meter or Uber trip, as well as the $200,000 grant going directly to the county to help assist with expanding their dial-a-ride services countywide. We had our public hearing in DuPage County. We had 2 people attend. Their comments really focused on electrification of the PACE services. And again, we let them know that we are looking at Waukegan as the location that will do a pilot. And the reason why Waukegan's chosen, it's smaller, it's centralized as far as the buses in that area. So it seems like a best fit to do such a pilot in that area. But we are committed to going to zero emissions. And that's all I have unless there's any questions.
Member Schwarzy.
Thank you, and thank you for the report, Chris. I know you and I chatted just a little bit via email a few months ago about some of, like we had a public comment today on PACE, and it seems like a big problem is a driver shortage. Aside from aside from partnering with Uber and Lyft, I mean, I guess 2 questions. Do you know why there is a driver shortage? Number 1, and number 2, are you able to try to resolve those problems that are causing that driver shortage?
Sure. Unfortunately, we're not able to pinpoint exactly what the cause of the driver shortage is. Well, attraction is, but we can't quite pinpoint what the issue is with attracting more drivers to come online. I know that our partners, the contractors, are diligently promoting and going out to different fairs. PACE has also participated in many job fairs and promoting of our services as far as it's not only bus operators, it's maintenance, and it's also our call center individuals. So we are trying as much as we can to promote working for PACE as well as the contractors. Again, it's one of the things that we've heard is there's concerns with safety, meaning being with the public during the pandemic. And I want to stress that our services are cleaned multiple times a day and then sanitized each evening. There's a barrier that protects the operator as well as the rider. So it is an extremely safe environment. But again, to recruit new operators, it's been difficult during the pandemic. And we're hoping that will turn around soon. Also, once they are hired in, they go through extensive training. So there's always a delay. So we always want to have more than what we need on hand. And unfortunately, it's just been a very difficult time as far as recruiting new drivers.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Member Renihan.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hi.
Hey, I just wanted, thanks for the information on the capital plan. I'm just wondering, is there any additional commitment or priority for PACE when it comes to low income or disadvantaged areas? I mean, I have a car and I might use PACE as a convenience, but for other people, it's an absolute necessity. So where is PACE going with that?
Well, I'm not sure I understand the question, but as far as services go, that's our prime rider. Our riders are all transit dependent individuals, many who do not have a car. So
Just asking, is there additional money in the budget that, has that been, prioritized and then monetized, I should say, as a priority?
oh, it's always a priority to provide transit to the ones that need it most, definitely. And also, I should mention, in our Driving Innovation, which is our new playbook plan for how do we plan service in the future. In the past, it's always been 4 measurements, which is ridership, productivity, and fare box recovery ratio. We're going to be expanding on that further, meaning ridership may not be what it is in one area compared to another, for example, West Cook or South Cook to DuPage. So we're looking at different measurements to use to implement services.
Okay, yeah, it can't just be fare box recovery. We know that doesn't really
Right.
solve a lot of
Right, and
ridership.
yes, and also within that, and that's why we're looking at doing these micro transit or partnering with Ubers and Lyft, because again, it may not be sustainable for a fixed route service, but there is other services available that we could provide that would provide service to that area and meet the matrix that they need to meet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Member DeCiani, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I wanted to chime in on the assistance situation. I know we had corresponded via email, but we were kind of spoiled with some of our township services that have kind of gone to the wayside of Ride DuPage, but those township services often would, go into a residence and help the senior or person with a disability into the vehicle and also help them where they're going, get them into the building that they were going into. That seems to be a challenge now with Ride DuPage because of the fact that they're really, again, manpower shortage, and then, it's a small bus, so they need to have that bus kind of in visual sight so that they're responsible for who's on that bus as well as the person that they're dropping off. But, I know they're based on your email, you could have accommodations of somebody driving with them, But oftentimes, if they had somebody to drive with them, they would have a ride with a family member to begin with. So it's a challenge that we're seeing here. And I just wanted to, think about, is there a way we can maybe put an aid on those paratransit vehicles to assist the driver so that they don't have to have that bus and envision that aid could actually help go into their nursing facility or into the doctor appointment that they're going to? Is that something that we might be able to possibly help, given the obstacles we're dealing with the specialties of people with disabilities and the elderly?
And I'll definitely take that back. I think there's challenges with that, but that's something certainly I can take back for PACE to look into further. One is just, again, that would take up an extra seat on the bus, and that's an extra hire and training. I know that there's liability concerns also with entering an entrance facility. So we look at this as a public transit service. So if they need that additional assistance, we will assist them to the door. But Member DeCiani pointed out that, and it's true, if the operator or individual would need to be in line of sight of the vehicle at all times, which makes it very challenging because we can't always guarantee, depending on where the entrance is and where the vehicle is, if that's going to be something that the driver can do. So I will definitely take that back to see if that is something that we can do.
Thank you. The person I was advocating is blind and is also a fall risk. So this was a challenge naturally with using the Ride DuPage option, unfortunately, getting her to do a doctor visit. But I'm thinking more and more of these people are going to be in this position and with various disabilities. So I appreciate your advocacy.
Thank you, Member DeCiani, and thank you, Chris. Any other comments for Chris? Okay, Chris, I really appreciate you being here today. Thanks for the updates. And we will see you next time. Next, I believe we have Sarah Blair online from RTA. There's Sarah.
Hi,
Hello,
good morning.
you.
Can you
Welcome.
Can you hear me okay? Making sure I
Yes.
don't echo. Okay, great. All right, well, hello everyone. I'm Sarah Blair. I'm the lead mobility outreach coordinator from the mobility management team of the RTA. So a few updates. RTA is accepting public comment for the 2022 proposed operating budget, 2-year financial plan, and 5-year capital program through noon on December 15th. You can submit a comment by emailing communications@rtachicago.org. And in the subject line, please include 2022 budget. If you have not already, we encourage you to take and share a new public survey called the RTA's Strategic Planning Public Survey. This will help use and identify issues and priorities that matter to you and your community. So please complete the survey. It will remain available until 2022. And I will share the link. I'll email John Loper, so you have that link if you don't already, so you can complete it. We have received about 500 responses, but we're looking for more. So please feel free to complete it and share with your communities. Additionally, from the mobility management team, we work primarily with older adults and people with disabilities. So just some updates. If you get questions about individuals ride-free and reduced fare cards, we are no longer auto-renewing the reduced fare ride-free cards, starting with the card expiration of January 2022. Reminder letters have been sent out to customers, but if you do get a question about it, just refer them to RTA's customer service. Additionally, we are launching a new online portal for individuals to apply and renew for reduced fare and ride-free cards, which is pretty exciting. So that will be available in the new year, and at the next meeting, I will provide more information and update on it, but it will be called the RTA Fare Programs Online. So they'll no longer have to submit a paper application unless they prefer to do so. They can just submit it all online. Last but not least, an update from Linda Chamberlain. She is working on the Regional Mobility Manager project, and the project is to see if a Regional Mobility Manager is needed in the RTA region. So just an update on that. They are wrapping up the project. So it's been a year-long project, researching and getting feedback from the RTA region and also nationally. So nationally meaning they've met with individuals that provide mobility management and have learned a little bit more about what mobility management is in their community. So we have an advisory committee that is reviewing data and providing feedback. Their last advisory committee is this month. And the project is expected to be presented to senior management in January. And then the report will be made public shortly after. That's all I have.
Does anyone have any questions for Sarah? Okay, Sarah, thank you so much for the update. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you again to Chris. Any other new business? Any old business? Hearing none, I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Okay, all right, everyone, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, everybody.